Okay, Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Screen is not sharing. Type. So we will continue with our to-do app. So yesterday we spoke about the different ways of adding CSS to a React project. So we learned about how to use a style attribute to add styles, and we also looked at the different options available, the flexibility that it offers. Then we looked at how to use the class names, right? So we spoke about how to use normal CSS style sheets. Like you have some style sheet here, right? Normal CSS style sheet. This is a normal thing. You just define all your CSS class names and also whatever style that you want here, and you can just refer those style names in your components in a normal way, like you would do in HTML. Okay, and we also looked at one more thing, which is CSS modules. So this is what we concluded our classes with, right? So in React, there is one more possibility, which is using CSS modules. So you see, this is a CSS module, and the convention is that it should end with .module.css. Okay, so when you write like this, then you are defining that as a CSS module, and the advantage that it offers you is that it allows you to scope your style sheets for a particular component alone. Okay, so for example, here if you see the file name is add_todo.module.css, right? So I have some classes here. Okay, so this is one class .myButton, this is another class. Okay, and what happens is that when I use this module inside a component, let's say there's this add_todo component, right? So when I import it, right, so I have to import like this. Okay, so import some name and the file name. Naming it, you can give any name that you want here as well. This doesn't have to be the same as this one. It can be different as well. It doesn't matter. Okay, but this is important. .module.css, that is necessary if you want to use it as a module. If you want to use it as a normal style sheet, then don't use this. Okay. So if you use that as a module, then when you import that, you have to do like this. Okay. Okay, and then yeah, so it's like an object. Okay, and this object now will have all the classes that have been defined here. Okay, as their keys, like this, likewise this one as well. Okay, and then what you can do, you can use them in your class name. IDs and tag names, they won't have any impact. It's the same. Like no. CSS modules is only for the class names. That's why, for example, let's say you have something like this. Okay, div color is equal to white. This is not accessible as anything inside this object. This is an object, and that is only for classes. Okay, and also you see, we use CSS modules only with class names. Like this, you can't use it with anything else like IDs or style. No. Okay, you can only use that along with class names. Okay, so what happens is, inside your CSS module, even if you define some normal HTML tag like this div or some other ID, let's say, okay, let's say my logo, something like this, this is some ID. Okay, and you give some style for that 100%. So these two things, they are not available inside this object. No, only the classes that you defined inside the module will be available. Okay, as for these two things, right, these two things will appear in your final style sheet as normal CSS. It does not have any difference. It does not have any difference whether you put this here inside a CSS module or whether you put these two things inside some other normal CSS file. It's the same. Okay, so no, these things will not make any difference whether you these styles will be applied. For example, when you say color is equal to white, right, all the divisions that are inside your app will be white color. Okay, No, it's not particular for add to do alone. No, it's going to be applied for everything. As for we are imported here, right? So this file, right, it will be a part of the final bundle. So these two styles will be applied for all the divisions. For all the divisions, the color will be black, and whatever elements which have that ID my logo, which will be 100%. Okay. As for the classes, right, then they behave slightly different when you declare them inside modules. So what happens is that when you declare them inside modules, right, these class names will be appearing slightly different in the final style sheet. Okay. So that's why I have a page here from Create React App. So you can read this. Okay. Add CSS modules, and you see what they say is that when you use CSS modules, right, that allows the scoping of CSS by automatically creating a unique class name of the format. Okay, which means that you'll be writing your class names like this. Okay, my button, but the final name that will be appearing in the bundle would be in this format: file name underscore whatever class name that you gave, and then some hash. Hash means some random values. Okay. Okay. So even though the name that you gave is my button, in the final bundle, right, that name would be add to do underscore my button underscore some hash. Okay. So so that gives you the advantage, right? So what happens is that now I can use the same class name in some other module as well. See, here also I have a module, CSS module, and there as well the same class name, and there's a different style. Okay. But in the final style sheet, you won't see any conflict because these things will be transformed to some other value. Okay. But if you did not use a style sheet, if you did not use a CSS module, if you use these two things as normal CSS, right, then any one of those things will get overwritten. So you will either see all the buttons to be red, or you will see all the buttons to be green, like we saw yesterday. But if you use CSS modules, then those class names will be transformed to some other unique value, so there won't be any conflicts. Okay. Yeah, you can use it. Yeah, for example, you can take this same style sheet and you can use it at more than one component. You can use the same style sheet for to-do list as well. It's possible. Okay. No, there is no difference actually. They are the same. It's just they are included in different places actually. Okay. You can even delete this. It's not even needed actually. You can delete it. Okay. You have some error here. So this is CSS module. Okay. What it allows is that it allows you to use the same class name across different modules. Okay, without any conflict, without any styles getting overwritten. Okay, but this is not possible in normal CSS style sheet, right? You can use only one class name, right, per CSS file. If you use the same class name at some other place, then whatever comes later or whatever is more specific will overwrite the one which is less specific. Okay. But if you use CSS modules, this kind of a clash doesn't occur because what it happens that this class name will be converted to some other thing, some other unique value, which makes sure that the styles don't get overwritten. Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll just come and complete the styles for this entire app. Okay. So that's what we'll be doing today. Nothing much. So let's come to add to do. So we have the, okay, let's work on this. Okay, so let's say this is going to be to do input. Okay, and let me come here. we change that to do input. We save that. Okay, let me delete this, it's not needed. So now since this is a module, right, I have to import that as a module. Okay, it's already imported that as a module. So how should I use that? Class name, add to do styles dot to do input, whatever name that you gave there. Okay, to do input. Okay, showing some error. Kind of multiple items the same. Okay, so we already gave the name here, right? So I should delete that. So you can see it is big, right? Okay, so can we add more styling for that? Okay, let's do it incrementally. Okay, so now this is fine. Let us take care of this button here. Okay, so for this button, right, what I should do, I'm already having a class name here, so let's change the class name. Okay, so my button is something very generic, so let's change that class name to add new. Okay, sorry, add to do button, because we have to give meaningful names, right? So add to do button. So now we see, okay, we see the green color. Now we have to change it, right? So what I can do now is, instead of coming and changing here, saving it, and then clicking here and look at the effect, right? Let me use the DevTools, okay? And let me first fix all the styles using inspect, and then let me copy and paste there, okay? So tell me the styles, what shall I do? Padding, I think it can be increased somewhat. This is fine, right? 15, okay, 16 pixels is good, okay. What about the font size? Font size, let's take this is also fine, right? Okay, we'll give whatever font size that we have for this, okay. So what is the font size for input? For input is 32 pixels, okay. We can have the same for here as well. 32 pixels. Yeah. So for that, what I should do, I can give some margin, right? Margin left, right? Margin left can be, let's say, 15 pixels, okay. Now if you see, it's coming to the next line, right? Okay, let me just do like this. By the way, we won't make this thing responsive, okay. This is only for PC, because our intention here is not to learn CSS. Okay, so we are just going to add some minimal styles, okay, in a very quick way. Okay, so this is fine. Won't be such big, yeah, no problem, but anyway, let's keep it like that. So what else? Let me add some border radius for that. Border radius, okay, let's say 5 pixels. Okay, let's keep it as 10 pixels. Okay. The green color doesn't look that amazing, so let's change that. Is this okay? This looks fine, I guess. So this is fine, right? And when I hover over that, right, I want to show some other color, okay? And I also want to show the and if you look at look here, what is the class name here? It says add to do underscore, add to do button underscore, some random hash, right? The reason is because we are using it as module. See what is mentioned here, right? The same format is applied here. Okay, so React is transforming that class name for you to something else, okay? Not React, but create React app. So this is a dependency, okay? This is something that you use along with React, okay? So this is fine, and what I want to do is I want to okay, let me just copy all this, okay? Let me paste it there. Okay. Now when I hover over that, right, I want to change that. So I can even toggle that actually. So toggle the hover state. So what I can do, I can click on the button, and if you come here right, you see there's something here, hover. If you click on that, if I click and then you click on that right, which means that now this button is in hover state. Okay. Okay, but I have to add styles for that, right? Yeah. Okay. Let me just copy this. Copy all of that. Because how do you add styles for hover states? Yeah, whatever class name, hover, right? So here if you see that is available, right? There is no hover state available because we didn't define any hover state here, right? So it's not available there. So we have to add it here, okay? So what I can do is, how do I add a new class name? This is style row above, okay, yeah. So here we have the same class name, hover, okay. Let's say the color is going to be, background color. Let's say green. Why it's changing now? Because I have toggled the hover state. So if I disable that, right, you see the color changes back to something else, right? No. It is different actually. It's slightly different. Okay. You can see the difference, right? As a whole, right, the color changes slightly a bit bigger. Anyway, we'll make it more noticeable. Okay. Like this. So now, if you see, you can see, right. Here you also learned something new with regards to dev tools, right? How you can toggle the different states of a particular element. Okay. So for hover state, this is fine, okay, and also you have to do one thing, which is the cursor should be pointer. Okay, so you see it has a hand symbol, okay. So these two are fine, right? So let me copy that. So I should do add to do button, hover. So this button is styled, okay. See, this is fine, right? Okay, and what about the entire background? Can we change that color as well to something else? It's white right now. So for that, right, what I can do, I can create a normal global style sheet, okay, because these are modules, right, which is specific for that particular component alone. So let me create a kind of a global style sheet, okay, where we'll put all the common styles. So I can say that as app.css, okay. This is not this doesn't have to be a module, okay. This can be a normal CSS file. So I have to import it right somewhere. So I'll import it here. Import. For normal CSS files, you just do like this, app.css. So what I can do is I can give some background color, okay. So I can say the entire HTML writer is going to have background color is going to be, what color can we give? Can you give this aquamarine? Looks fine, right? Okay. Learn React. That is because of the default value. If you look at the add to do component, we have given some default value there, right? That is why it's appearing there. If you take it, then you won't see anything there. This color. No. I think it's because, let's come and look at the styles there. For input, okay, padding is there, okay. Add to do button, color is white. Yeah, I think generally if you see, right, that background color will be applied for all the elements actually. but see, for example, in this division as well, right, these are divisions, right, they also have the same background color, okay, but for this input element it's not applied actually. So anyway, if you want to change it, we can change it, okay. So this is fine, and what else? Let's try to style these three things as well, okay. So let's try to bring this. Okay, so let me come here. So to-do list, yeah. So do you think this entire thing, right, it can be taken out as a separate component, like to-do component? This is one to-do, right? I think that will be better, right? So we'll do that, okay. So what I'll do is I create a new component, to-do.js. Why, Afi? That is not a difficult thing, that's a very easy thing, right? Okay, you'll see now. See, right now I create a new component, okay, so it's going to be called to do, and what should be appearing here, whatever we wrote here, right, that should be appearing there. So let me copy that, let me cut that, and let me paste it here. Now if you see, this is my component, okay, but if you see, I need some data, right, these things, to do, index, these things are not defined here, right? So what shall I do for that? Pass them as a props. Okay, so we have to pass three props: remove to do, and also the index. So these three things should be passed as a prop, okay. And here what shall I do? Okay, let me first save this file, even though it's going to throw some error. Okay, we know that these three things will be coming as a prop, right? So let me put it here. We have to do, then we have remove to do, it's going to be a function, and thirdly we have index. Okay, I will come back to this index, okay. Here we don't need index, but I will come back to it. For the time being, we'll just keep it here, index. So now if you see this component, it's not throwing any error, right? Everything is fine in this component, so let me save that, okay. So what I should do, I should import this component inside this file, right? Import to do from, okay, so I have the component here, then I have to return here, okay, like this, okay. This is fine, right? And we have to pass these strings as props, right? This to do should be passed as a prop, right? To do is equal to do, and also we have to pass this as a prop, right? Remove to do as well, right? So remove to do is equal to remove to do, okay. And we also need to pass the index, okay. So what is the need of this index? This index is, I think, used at two places, I guess. It is used as a key here. It is also used at the remove, when you are calling the remove to do function as well. Okay, this is absolutely necessary, right? We can't call this function without index. So this is needed here. But as for this place here, right, it is not needed here anymore. Because what is the need for the key? The key should be used along with the list rendering, right? So it should be used here only. For this to do component, I have to give a key. Okay. Like this. Because I am using the map here only, right? So I am doing the list rendering here only. So in this component only. So the key should be passed as a. The key should be defined for this component only. Okay, to do component, this level. As for inside the to do component, it is not needed anymore. This is not needed. Okay. Okay. So now if you see, everything is fine, right? So this is fine, and this is also fine, right? Let me save that. So there's only one error, which is to do styles is not defined, okay? Because this is right, here we are not using styles, so this should be in that file, okay? We cut that. Now you see there is no error, okay? So things are exactly the same, except that we have created one more component. Okay, see, everything is fine. Okay, it's not working, so there should be some error. Let's look at that. Okay, there's no error as well. So are we calling the function properly? When you click on this, okay, you are calling the function remove to do, remove to index. Okay. To do's dot map return to do key is going to be index. Okay. Remove to do. Okay. Why is this not working? Ajib. Okay, so it's not working right. So what shall we do now? I also don't have any error in the console as well. So how do I find what's going wrong? I can use a debugger, okay? As long as debugger is there, right, you don't have to be afraid. You can find any error. So what I should do is, so when I click on this remove button, right, it should be removed, right, or to say it in a technical way, when I click on that button, right, this function should be called, right, in my app.js file. This function should be called, the code should come to line number 18, 19, 20, right. So what I can do, I can put a breakpoint at line number 18 and see whether the code is even reaching this line, or and if it's reaching, then what is the value of index and all those things I can look at that. Okay, so let me go to the sources here of one. Okay, so I have to give access, okay, to this particular folder. Open file, okay, page. Group file folder, okay, open file. How do I open a folder here? Drop a folder to add a workspace, okay. So we want this folder, right, src folder, or this learner app folder. Okay, let me come here. Learner app, where is it? This is learn react. Where is the learner app folder? Okay. Okay, it's not working. So where is this located, Afi? Do you know? Inside this you are saying? Yeah, it's here, okay. Okay, let me remove that. So now if you see, I have my folder here, so I have components here. Okay, I think so in my app.css file, it should be like this. File system, yeah, it should be. Actually, this is the reality, actually. When you see the coding tutorials, right, they don't show these things actually. They cut all those things and they'll only show you the perfect version. But in real programming, doesn't matter how experienced you are, you'll always run into issues like this. Yeah. Actually, the problem was that generally, right, it's already there actually. You see, this learner app is loaded here, but I have clicked on page here. Okay, that's why I was not able to see the files. So if you want to put the debugger, right, you have to come here, the file system, okay. And here, right, so we can see all the files, okay, that we have. So src, and in the app.js file, we told that we have to put a breakpoint at this line, okay, line number 18, and see what happens when I click on the remove button. So let me put a breakpoint there. and if I click on remove button, see the code is coming there, okay. But the problem is, you can see index is undefined. This is a problem, okay, because the index has to be defined, right, to remove that. See, if the index is defined, if it's undefined, then how can we remove it? It won't be removed, right? So why it is undefined? We have to look at the call stack, because this function was called by some other function, right? So we have the call stack, right? So we can look here. On click, okay. But you have a lot of other functions from the system, so I don't think it can give you any. Okay, we have the on click event listener, right? Which is this, yeah. When you click that, right, line number 10, this function was called, right? Okay, here in the closure as well, you see the index is undefined. So I think we got the point. See, index is undefined. You see that? We pass that as a prop, right? But it is undefined. Why it's undefined? No, this is undefined because we didn't pass any prop as index. Yeah. We passed a key, but we didn't see here in the components to-do list. Here, right, there is no prop called index, right? There is a prop called key, but it should be index, right? Index is equal to index. Okay. Now let's see. Now that index will be defined. Okay. So I think it will work now. Yeah, it's working now. Okay. Now another question. So now it's working. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So one more question is the last final point. We'll wrap up with this. Okay. We are already passing the key here, right? Can I use this key inside? Because I need this index, right? Okay. That index is already being assigned to the key attribute here. So I can use that inside, right? Here. Yeah, it would be unique, but can I use like this? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Here anyway we are assigning the index, right, as the key here. So shall I use that as a prop inside my to-do component? We can't use it because this won't be available as a prop. This is not a prop actually. Just keep that in mind, okay? This is a prop, this is a prop, this is a prop. As for key, right, that's not a prop. Even though you're assigning as if it's a prop, but it's not a prop in reality. That is why this won't be available. Even if you try to use anything, like if you try to define something like this, right, this will be undefined only. Okay? So you can't use key as a prop, okay? So now we have done this and it is working for us, alhamdulillah. So what we'll do is, we will continue tomorrow, inshallah, okay? Oh, again it's not working. Yeah, we have to change here, right? Yeah, it should be index. Huh? No, I won't be removing this part. No. Even if I wanted to remove, I won't remove because I don't have time for that. Anyway, so inshallah we'll wrap this inshallah and we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, we'll just come and finish the styling for this part as well, and we will finish the app inshallah, and we will see what we'll do next inshallah. Okay. طيب إن شاء الله سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.